Hey, everybody, for tuning in. We're going to give everybody a few more minutes to, join, and then we'll get started with this Meet the Advisor. So, um, just tune back, and we will get started with this webinar very soon. Thank you. Hey, nice to see you, Jeff. We're going to get started in like 2 minutes. So we'll give everybody time to join, and then we'll get started with this webinar.
Sounds like a plan. Sorry if you guys saw me adjusting my camera, just getting ready.
No worries. All right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. My name is Anthony. I'm one of the advisors here at AMO. I am also joined by my colleague, Jeff. And thank you again for coming. We're going to be going over a little Q&A, a little brief bio and who we are and what we do. So if you guys have any questions or anything at all that you want to ask, please do so in the chat section. We also have a Q&A down below that if you want to ask any questions to us and we can answer live, more than happy to do so. So that going started, I will introduce myself again. My name is Anthony. I am one of the advisors here at AMO. I've been on the team for about 2 years now. So definitely have, a lot of experience in the medical industry, helping medical students and graduates with applying for the U.S. residency match. Um, and I grew up in the city of Chicago, Illinois. That is where we are headquartered at. So if anybody was looking to do a clinical rotation in Chicago, definitely can stop by and see us. I'll let Jeff go on ahead and introduce himself, and then we can kind of, get started here.
Yeah, thanks, Anthony. Hey there, everyone. My name is Jeff. I too am one of the advisors here at AMO. And I actually started back in May, so relatively newer to the team, but I did go to undergrad here in Chicago for health sciences with the intention of going to med school in the beginning, but you can see where I'm at now. I'm here supporting those med students and graduates. I too was born and raised here in Chicago, so very familiar with the area. If you do decide to come join us, I'd be happy to come and hang out and meet with you. But yeah, hopefully we were able to answer any of your questions today and get to introduce ourselves. I'll let Anthony take over.
All right, thank you, Jeff. So we would like to just first start off and just let everybody know exactly what AMO is. So we are a company that helps provide clinical rotations to medical students and graduates. We also work with other medical professionals as well, such as nursing, physical therapists, and dentistry as well. So if you were any in those categories, this is going to apply to you. So if you wanted to find a clinical rotation in the US, we have over 270 plus different rotation sites and over 70 plus different specialties. And you can find the majority in all over across the US. We are headquartered in Chicago, but we do have rotations pretty much in nearly almost every state. So California, New York, Florida, parts of Illinois, Texas, and many more. So if you guys were interested in applying, maybe you had some initial questions that you want to ask us, I did leave in the chat below a link to schedule a call. I also attached our email address. So if you guys want to reach out to us directly, more than happy to do so there. So let's get real started with some of the questions that I received in preparation for this call. And just to start off, what are AMO Advisors? So we are the initial contact for you guys. So if you had any initial questions, helping you find the right rotation at all, we are here to essentially help you with all of that. It is free to contact us to, even also schedule calls, create accounts and apply. There are no fees in order to do that, only when you want to first reserve a rotation. So we are going to be here to assist you. And we're also available through like email, through WhatsApp, even iMessage. So if you want to, have your own preferred kind of contact, that's probably going to be the best way to reach us. As Jeff and I kind of explained about ourselves, we are pretty passionate about the kind of medical industry. We understand that there is a decline in doctors that are going to be becoming available in the past couple following years. So we want to make sure that everybody does have the same kind of equal opportunities for those that are planning on applying for the U.S. residency match and want to get some clinical experience in hospitals and clinics across the U.S.
And
So it
yeah,
looks like, Oh,
Oh,
sorry, go
sorry.
ahead.
I did want to add in that one of the greatest benefits of AMO is getting that one-on-one support from the advisors and then later on the coaches. But that's what we do want to provide you, that hands-on support to help you find your clinical rotations so that you can progress with your career.
Great question. And we actually did get our first Q&A question, so happy to see that. It looks like Elham has asked, where is our contact information? So I did post it in the chat. I'm definitely gonna answer your question directly with our email and also the link to schedule a call. Like I said, it is free to start, but you can definitely reach out to us there. We're also have our availability posted on our website, so if you want to schedule a call directly there, more than happy to do so. So thank you for that first question. Definitely want to see other questions that come in related to clinic rotations, and we can pretty much answer those as we continue with this webinar. So the second question that I got is, how do we help trainees find rotations? So as you are going to see when you sign up, we have a lot of different rotations in different places. And the best way to kind of find all of those is by using the filters when you do sign up. There's going to be a wide range going from like what type of specialty you're looking for, the location such as state or city. If you had a specific month that you're looking for to attend, even rotation type. We offer different types of rotations such as hands-on observerships, as well as virtual and research. So if you had a type of rotation that you want to do, more than happy to choose those. And we have a list of different tags for individual unique programs. So if you were looking for maybe a hospital or an inpatient exposure program, be sure to utilize those tags and they'll be able to kind of narrow down your results. And we can also help you compile those. So if you let us know exactly what type of program you're looking for, we can definitely kind of send you a link to those specific searches and help kind of narrow down your results. Another way of helping you find programs is based on, what are some of your goals? We understand that not everybody is applying to the residency match. So we want to make sure that whatever program you're trying to find is going to indeed help you in terms of what your goals and what you're looking to expect. So that is, pretty much how we help. We have a really broad range of knowledge on these programs. So if you tell us exactly what you need, what type of expectations you're looking for, we will provide you a lot of different choices that will help narrow down your results and help you find the right rotation that is going to suit your needs. Jeff, I don't know if you had anything to add to that.
Not to that, but I do see a new Q&A question about clinical rotations in Austin, Texas. And I did want to answer that question right out. We do offer a number of rotations in Texas, across Texas, mostly in Houston and Dallas. If you were looking for Austin, Texas, we can work with you one-on-one to find the program for you.
Great, thank you for answering that. And like you said, we do have a lot of rotations throughout the state of Texas. So if you did need to help find a specific rotation, we're more than happy to connect with you after this call and make sure that you find the right one for that. So on to our next question. And if you guys, again, have more Q&A, please leave those in the chat. We're going to be answering those all throughout this. So next question here. What would you recommend trainees to look for when finding a rotation? So again, that is really going to suit your, what goals you're looking for. I understand most people have maybe a specific need or request, maybe something that they want to expect to attend. So please connect with us and we could definitely help you find those. Some good examples, yesterday I was working with a lead who was specifically looking for a rotation that deals with metabolic, endocrinology, maybe even weight loss. And we do offer a couple of different rotations that specialize in that field, depending on what the preceptor is currently working on. So I was able to have them apply for that rotation. So any kind of specific needs towards like that as a good example, we can definitely help you connect with that.
And what is great about our website is that each of the program pages, um, we are very thorough with the expectations and what to look forward to during the rotation. So when we do view those pages with you, we can go through, what to look out for, what you're expecting during that experience.
Perfect. Thank you, Jeff. And we did get some questions that are coming in, so I'm glad that people are going to start asking those. Somebody did ask, what documents are needed for the invitation letter? So that is a great question. And just to give everybody a more broad kind of general idea of this, we do provide visa support. So if you guys were in need of a visa invitation letter, to apply for a B1 visitor visa, we can provide that. For the documents specifically, we would need at least like your passport uploaded. You need to reserve a rotation so we can provide you the information on that letter specifically towards your invitation, or sorry, your interview. And if you are a current student, we would need at least a dean's letter, just verifying that you are currently a student. That way that we can include that information on the letter as well. And then for the graduates, it would just be a copy of your medical degree. So really, you just have to first reserve your rotation with a deposit. If you're a student, the dean's letter, graduates, a copy of your medical degree, and then your passport information. So once you have usually those three things done, we can provide you that visa invitation letter to use for your interview.
Yeah, and then the next question that we have here, what are the cheapest rotations usually, and do the prices differ based on the specialty? And typically most of our rotations range between that $1,500 to $3,000 range, but on average, most of our programs are right around that $2,000 to $2,400 range. The prices do vary depending on the program and the preceptors who we have partnered with. And so based on whatever your budget may be, we can work with you to find the program that'll fit your needs.
Awesome. Thank you for answering that question, Jeff. And the next question that we got from Sultan here, he asked, what are the advantages and disadvantages of a virtual rotation? So what is really nice with virtual rotations is that I would say the main advantage is that the letters of recommendation that you receive from a virtual rotation are the exact same for a in-person rotation. Many doctors see that you're still practicing medicine, you're still going to be interacting with patients directly, through a camera and asking them direct questions, answering their patient histories, their notes, and getting that kind of social interaction. So the letters are going to be the exact same. Now, I will mention that not all kind of specialties apply for virtual rotations. It would really vary and depend on what specialty you're looking for. But some of them that do are like plastic surgery, internal medicine, family medicine, pediatrics, even dermatology. So those are some of the select few, but we do have over 40 plus different virtual rotations available. So if anybody was interested in those, definitely a good shot. Some of the other advantages, if you are having a hard time getting a visa, we know that getting a visa is not easy, specifically towards certain countries that maybe the visa wait time is quite long, and you really just need to get a clinical experience, maybe even the next month or something coming up in the near future. The virtual rotation is going to allow you to attend without having to apply for a visa. That also applies to certain documents as well. You don't have to have like your immunization form completed. You'll be able to attend really just with like your CV, copy of your passport, and a dean's letter if you're a student. So that's really it to start. Some of the disadvantage I would say is really like the specialty you're looking for. Not all of them can really apply in those cases. So if you were looking for something that is maybe a really too specific or can't really be done in person, um, that may apply in that case. But other disadvantage that I can't really think of. Another advantage too is really the cost as well. Um, if you guys realize, there's not only the rotation fees, but you also have to pay for housing, your flight, food. With a virtual rotation, you wouldn't have to pay for any of that. You only really have to pay for the rotation itself, and that really, in the long run, is going to save you, a lot of money that you can also use to apply for a second rotation or even a third one. So I hope that answers a lot of your questions, Sultan, but if you have any more, please let us know. And if you want to schedule a call to talk about some of the virtual rotations that we offer, more than happy to do so.
And if I may add, Anthony, just to add on to that, those virtual rotations, these days, we've actually seen an increase in telemedicine and telerotations. So what we've seen is that we've had visitors and trainees who have taken virtual rotations with us and matched for residency still, even without even stepping foot in the United States once. So that is a plus side for all of you who are looking for residency match here in the US. You can take virtual rotations and they will still count towards that residency application.
Great. Thank you for kind of letting the visitors know about that, Jeff. Um, Again, if you are planning on applying for residency, the virtual rotations do count towards that. So thank you again for bringing that up. So our next question, somebody asked if is there any other degree or specialty other than the PG? I imagine that's for post-graduation that IMGs can pursue. Besides clinical rotations, we do offer research as well. So for the medical students and graduates that are maybe interested in, pursuing a rotation to kind of get your foot in the door, understand how research works, and maybe even start your own projects, that is probably a great way to start there. So I hope that answers your question, but primarily this is going to be for clinical rotations. So if you want to get more experience to apply for the residency match, or even just get experience to take to your home country, this is probably going to be the best fit for what you're looking to do. So the next question that we got is, will I be paid during these clinical rotations? I want to be absolutely clear that these rotations do not pay you. You have to pay in order to attend. As Jeff kind of briefly mentioned earlier in this webinar, prices start at probably around $1,499, and they can go up to about $4,900, depending on the rotation you choose. So, just letting you know fully clear, if cost is a concern, I'd say, we do have some value programs that would probably be a good fit for you. And then also the virtual would be a good fit as well. That way you can save a lot more money and not have to pay for, like additional housing and stuff like that. Now, another question that we got is the list of universities for US clinical rotations. We do have a lot of different types of rotations. We have clinic-based rotations, hospitals. For universities, they don't, I guess, like provide clinical rotations. They do work with hospitals. So we do have hospitals that are affiliated with different universities. A good example, Florida International University has a lot of affiliations in Miami. So we have a lot of university program-based rotations in that area. For New York and New Jersey, we don't have a university-based hospital, but we do have a lot of doctors that are affiliated with universities. A good example, we have a lot of NYU doctors in that area who are affiliated with the school. Maybe they are a clinical instructor or a professor of some kind, and they do also teach on the side, on the side of their clinical rotation. We have doctors that are affiliated with, trying to think of the names, Mount Sinai, New York. Well, I'm drawing a blank, but we do have a lot in that area. So if you definitely want to take a look at those, go on our site and we can let you know exactly which rotations to apply for. But we do, again, have a lot of affiliations with different universities, hospitals. So you're going to be more than happy to find a lot of rotations that do fit those needs. So another question we got is about the immunization form and how many days is the health insurance has to be. So all of our rotations are 4 weeks long. So if you are planning to do one rotation, it's traditionally going to be about a month long. The immunization form, we do have it available on our website. So if you wanted to download it, you'll have to get that signing completed by one of the primary care physicians that's in your area. This could be your home doctor. It could really be any doctor as long as they're licensed to, operate and work. That way they can get you that immunization form completed. And probably one of the best part is you don't need to get this completed in order to reserve. That can always come after you reserve. So really, you only need like at least your CV uploaded to apply. That way we can process your applications and you guys can essentially reserve your seat. And then after you reserve, you're going to get assigned to one of our coaches that's going to help. And they're going to assist you with, completing your enrollment, the immunization form, as well as the other documents, including the visa invitation letter that we will issue you if that's what you did need. Jeffrey, is there anything to add to that?
Not about the immunizations. You had pretty much everything that I was going to say. Excuse me. But going on to the next question that I see here, could you tell us more about the rate of acceptance for the visa letters based on previous data? And can you elaborate on our options for visa denial? Yes, we can answer somewhat the rate of visa success. I'd say typically about 85 to 90% of our visitors who use our invitation letter to go for their emergency visa do get their visas. So with that, about 85 to 90%, that can fluctuate, of course, and that is an estimate. And then if your visa does get denied using our invitation letter, we do have a couple of options to for you guys. And one of them being we can, request a more personalized letter directly from the physician and submit that application again. Or we can postpone your rotation for a later date for when we can get that visa. One other option, if we are unable to postpone, you can receive a half refund, a 50% refund on the fees that you do pay.
And I do want to add to that, Jeffrey, as well. We do try our absolute best to make sure that you have the highest chance of getting visa approval. We have been doing this since we started in 2013, so we are quite familiar with the visa process. We do have a lawyer team on hand that will assist you with anything of your needs. So if you had any, specific questions, we will help you prepare for the interview itself, how to complete the application form, to apply for a visa and get that interview. And then if we do run into a possible visa denial, very unlikely, but we do have cases where that does happen. As Jeffrey laid out, we can always have you reapply for a visa, and we will ask the physician for an additional support letter. We can also postpone your rotation for a later date. God forbid, during the COVID pandemic, we did have a lot of people that had to postpone rotations, but we were able to do that. And there is no limit to how long you wanted to wait. We had people from the pandemic wait at least 2 years, and some are still waiting to come back and attend a rotation. And they know with confidence that their rotations are still going to be there. So if you guys did run into that issue, we're more than happy to postpone. Another great option, we can always just switch your rotation to a virtual one. So if you guys wanted to do a rotation right away, but you had that visa denial, we can always switch to a virtual rotation. And if you decide you didn't want to apply for a visa, you didn't want to attend the rotation, we do have that option to receive a half cash refund. This is the most unpopular option, so I don't recommend it unless you are not really planning to pursue a career in the US, because you are going to need a visa at one point. and it's just really best to try again. And that is what most people do. So if you didn't want to opt for that option, I don't recommend it. We are always going to, make sure that you get a visa and that you can attend a rotation no matter what. So our next question is, for IMGs, by which academic year of their medical school can they apply in order to get approved for this clinical rotation? So that is a great question. There is no time. It's really, as long as you're a current medical student or a graduate, you can attend, whenever you want. So if you wanted to start your first year, you just started, your science kind of courses, you don't really have any clinical experience, that's perfectly okay. There are a lot of programs that do work with some of those early medical students that maybe wanted a more introductory course into what the US medical system is like, maybe get their foot in the door and see exactly if this is something that they wanted to do. You don't have to start in your third or fourth year when that kind of clinical year start. You can always start early on and kind of get that experience, so you don't have to wait. And the same thing for graduates. If you're not a recent graduate, maybe it's been a few years since you've had any clinical experience, that's perfectly okay too. We're not going to limit you. You can always choose any of these rotations, and we will make sure that we will help you find a great fit for that program. Jeffrey, anything to add to that question?
Yeah, I did want to add in, for anybody that may be concerned about, when they should start applying, on the program pages on our website for each of the individual programs, we do have kind of listed out suggested years, or when you what year students or graduates that the program would benefit the most. So again, going into kind of the program details, we do kind of lay out exactly what you should be expecting and what kind of program this will be based on what your status is.
Perfect. Thank you for adding that input, Jeff. So the next question, and this is actually the last one that popped up on our Q&A. So if you guys have any more, please keep typing away. We are on a hot streak here, so don't let us down. And this question is really about the prerequisites, like any eligibility criteria, exam qualification in order to apply for a rotation. Really, there isn't any. Like I said, if you are medical student or graduate, you are eligible to attend. Ideally, we would want to see at least your CV uploaded. That kind of gives us a good indication of who you are before you apply. And when you do apply for a rotation, we can always process your application faster. And once you are approved, you'll be able to reserve your rotation. So it's really that fast and easy. If there is any additional requirements, an advisor like myself will reach out to you and let you know exactly what you need to upload. And there's always going to be some more information in the description of the rotation if there is anything additional to that. So we are more than happy to assist you in kind of that process and making sure that you're uploading the correct documents too. And if anybody is ready to reserve a rotation soon or looking to apply, we do have currently a couple of programs, I think about 10 that are currently dropped in price for the time being for the holidays. So if you wanted to reach out and ask us about those programs, be sure to do so. This sale does go on, I believe, until mid-December. So definitely want to reach out to us if you want a discount on some select rotations. More than happy to do so as well. So I want to briefly mention everybody who is in attendance about that current sale that will be happening for a select programs. All right, so we did get a great question coming in. Somebody did mention that there is a longer wait time for interviews for the V1, V2 in certain countries. Some will mention like 999 days. So for those cases, if you are in a current country that does have that, Typically, that means that the embassy is not processing applications at the time, and it's hard for them to schedule interviews. So in those processes, we do have a specific process that can help you expedite the visa in order to get an earlier date. Um, those you do have to essentially go through the process of scheduling an initial interview, reserving that rotation, and requesting a visa support letter. If we have to schedule an earlier date, such as expediting the visa interview, we can do that process. When you do reserve, you're going to get assigned to a coach, like I mentioned, and they will assist you with that kind of whole process. And we will make sure that we can expedite that visa. And then if we're not able to do so, we can go through those visa denial options that I mentioned earlier as well, and kind of walk you through postponing, but we will also make sure that we go through this process before we do run into that issue. So I hope that answers your question, Jigar Kumar. But if you did run into that issue, we do have a few options that we can work with you, and just be sure to let us know, and we can work specifically towards your unique case. So another great question that came in as well, will I be completely denied this opportunity if I don't have a great CV? So that is an awesome question. Through AMO, we are an equal opportunity provider. So you don't have to have the most amazing CV. The reason why you're attending this rotation is to get, that experience to add to make a great CV. So as long as you have a CV, it doesn't have to have any, experience on there. We just need to see that you have one. So if you're a current student, you can just really put your university information, maybe a couple courses that you've taken, maybe if you have some volunteer experience. There is no set way on making a great CV, but we can definitely help you with finding the rotation experience to add to that CV to make it look more ideal. So if you are planning on applying for the residency match, we will make sure that you have a great CV that you can, show for it. All right, we got through all the Q&A questions so far. So if everybody has any more, please keep asking them. Until that time, I'm going to go through the list of questions that I have. So if you guys please keep typing away. More than happy to answer those. So the question I have, what happens after a trainee reserves a rotation? So when everybody does reserve a rotation, you're automatically assigned to one of our coaches, and they'll assist you with everything after you reserve. So that includes helping you enroll to the program, helping you with any documents that you need to submit. The visa process as well will also assist you with that. If you needed to find housing, they are going to assist you with that as well. So anything after you reserve, whether it be like housing, visa related documents, they're going to be able to assist you with that. They also do host a orientation before your rotation starts that you can attend. And traditionally, that's where you're going to meet other reserve trainees who are planning on attending for that specific month, and kind of just get to know each other, answer a lot of the questions that are coming up, and even tell you what type of clothes that you have to wear for your rotation, whether it be, scrubs, a lab coat, or even professional dress wear. So they will assist you with pretty much everything after. Like us, Jeff and I, the advisors, we help you with everything before you reserve. So answering a lot of those initial questions, and then after, the coaches will take over for us.
And I do see that we have another Q&A question here. Can I get a virtual rotation in Simi Valley Hospital if I apply now? I want to say, if you are currently browsing through our website and finding programs that you are interested in and you want to apply to, feel free to submit that application. I do recommend uploading your CV as well, so that we can process the application quicker and let you know whether you've been accepted or not. But absolutely, if you want, if you find a program, go ahead and apply for it. One of our advisors will be in touch with you shortly anyways.
Yeah, and for this specific rotation, You probably have saw that it is only an in-person rotation. They do offer general surgery and cardiology. It is currently not available for virtual, but we can certainly see if they are willing to accept a virtual applicant. So if you want to inquire more about that, please email us down at the link below in the chat. I'm more than happy to connect with you and kind of talk more about this specific situation. But currently right now, this is only a in-person rotation. They offer general surgery and a cardiology rotation at the specific hospital in California. So I know that doesn't exactly answer your question, but you can always inquire more. We can see if we can find you another great fit. Because if you're looking for specifically cardiology or general surgery, we do have a lot of other great virtual rotations that fit those specialties that may be better suited to your case, just because they have kind of the virtual already set up. So somebody did ask here, at what time is the preferred time for the visa interview for summer rotations? Well, if you're asking about summer, you should probably get started on that process now. This is really gonna depend on what country you're currently in. But I would give yourself at least 6 months in order to kind of plan out and make sure that you can get a visa in time. So I don't know exactly where you're located, but I would suggest getting started now, only because summer is also our most busiest time of year. That's when a lot of students are off. That's when graduates are getting those last minute rotations done for the residency match deadline in September. So if you want to get started, do it now. All rotations are first come, first serve. So whoever doesn't reserve their seat, um, you are getting prone to somebody else taking that seat away from you. So as soon as you reserve, you are locked in for that seat and nobody else can take it. So if you want to get started, highly suggest reaching out now to us and we can help you find a rotation before they are all gone for summer. So they did mention they're in Milan, Italy. I don't know exactly the wait time is, but there is a current a link that you can search for visa appointments. I will make sure to type that in the chat below. So you can use that specific link to help you find that kind of visa wait time, and that can tell you exactly when that visa interview is. But traditionally, I would suggest applying at least 6 months in advance if summer is your time that you are planning to attend.
If I may add one more thing about the visa there. I do know there are certain countries that fall under the ESTA waiver for visas, and since I did see Italy, Italy is among those countries that qualifies for ESTA waiver visas. So for those countries, it will be slightly easier to get your visa. Just keep that in mind, and if you do have, if you are questioning whether your country is does fall under that, I can put that link here in our Zoom chat as well.
Yeah, great for that add-on, Jeff. There are select countries that do have that ESTA kind of visa waiver. Italy is part of that. So definitely recommend checking that out if that is applicable to you in this case. All right, next question that we got. Can I apply for 2 to 3 rotations at a stretch? They mean like the same hospital or different hospitals. Suppose I get into a program after finishing that, can I continue for another 2 months with the same visa? So that is a great question. Traditionally, most people try to attend at least 2 to 3 rotations at a time if you can. If you can only attend one, that's perfectly okay too. If you wanted to plan for 2 to 3 months, be sure to apply for even the same rotation or a different one through different applications, and you can attend for those months that you are planning to attend. If you also wanted to extend your rotation, say you weren't planning for it, you can also do that as well. If you have the permission from that preceptor and you want to do maybe a additional month, we're more than happy to kind of accommodate you and make sure that you can, attend for that additional month So that's really no problem at all. But I would just mention that if you are planning to do at least more than 1 month at a time, to plan that out in advance, that is just going to make it easier for you. Nothing is more difficult than extending your time when you're already there. But if you already kind of have a general idea that's what you're planning to do, more than happy to help you in that process. But generally, just submit more applications for that, for those months that you're planning on attending.
And then I see we've got another question here. Do you offer rotations year round, or is there a limited window of time in which rotations are possible? And that is a great question. We do offer clinical rotations every month of the year round. And we even open registration for programs 12 months out. So say for 2024, we open registration for all of those in January of 2023, and you can start applying at that time.
Yeah, great for answering that question, Jeff. And just to add on, they are available all year round. We just recommend that you apply at least 6 months in advance. That just gives you time to find the right rotation, get prepared for the rotation, such as submitting your documents, enrolling. If you need to apply for a visa, give that time as well. So if you were, had a specific time of the year, more than happy to accommodate you. For those that maybe are interested in attending with less than 6 months out, we can still accommodate you, but you should get started on that process now. Don't wait to the last minute. It's only going to be a lot harder for you. So we want to make sure that your life is stress-free. We know medical students are always having a stressful time in school. It's not easy. So we want to make sure that you're having a pretty streamlined kind of process. Now, we did get another question here. Can I get multiple letters of recommendation during a single rotation? So that is a great question. So just to let everybody know, you can get at least one letter of recommendation per rotation through AMO. You have that opportunity to earn a letter of recommendation through all of them. There may be maybe 1 or 2 rotations that do provide multiple letters, maybe even 2. So if you want to inquire specifically about those programs, more than happy to kind of share those with you. Those are kind of unique. So advisors are going to know exactly which ones that do provide that. But traditionally, it is going to be 1 letter per rotation. So if you want to maybe get 3 or even 4 letters of recommendation in order to apply for the residency match, expect to attend at least 3 to 4 rotations. So you can get those 3 to 4 letters of recommendation. And also just to add on to that too, the type of letters of recommendation that we provide, they are going to be personalized towards your experience. We don't work with any doctors that don't provide letters, and then also generalized letters of recommendation that are copied and pasted per person. So if you wanted a quality letter of recommendation that is personalized and tailored to your specific experience, AMO is going to be able to provide that. So I know that is usually a big deal breaker with a lot of people. Maybe they have gotten, generic letters in the past. We always make sure that the preceptors that we work with don't do that. So you are going to be kind of, rest assured that you're going to get a really quality letter of recommendation. All right. Looks like we got through all those Q&A questions again. So if anybody has any more, please go to that. I'm going to jump back to the questions that I had beforehand. So let's see. I guess a follow-up to what we were just talking about, the letter of recommendation, is how do I, get a letter of recommendation? So the best thing is to just ask for it. The preceptor is there. They're going to be assisting you throughout that entire month. Generally, I would suggest scheduling like a one-on-one meeting midway through the rotation, discussing, how things are progressing, how are you doing, is there anything that you need to improve, and just bring up that you need a letter of recommendation, and they're going to be able to provide that for you. If you don't ask for it, you're not going to be able to get it, so don't forget to do that. And during the rotation, we always are going to make sure to remind you to ask for that letter. And even after, to make sure that you got it as well, so that you can always get that letter of recommendation. We know that is very important, so we want to make sure that you are going to get it.
And if I can add one more thing, Anthony, with the letters of recommendation, they are merit-based. So they are based on your performance. The strength of the letter comes from your performance and what the physician or the preceptor will write about you. So there is a common conception, and it has been relatively true in the past, but and that is about where the letter of recommendation comes from, and then the strength it will hold in the residency match application. Previously, whether the LOR was given by a university or a hospital was preferred, but these days, with today's culture, that is not as important. The location is not nearly as important as the content of the letter about you, about your performance, about the way you work in the clinic. So if there are any questions regarding that, we can go more in depth, but I did want to highlight that the strength of your LOR will be based on your performance during your experience.
Great, thank you for that addition, Jeff. So we did get somebody else to ask a question here. They asked, what do I need to match residency for nephrology, cardiology, ortho, the higher specialties in my CV? What points should you add to that probability? So there, just to answer that, pretty bluntly, there is no one way of, having to match into these specialties. If there was, everybody would be matching. But I would say, as a general kind of point, if you're currently in medical school, get those top scores, make sure that you have the highest marks that you can get, pass the step 1 on the first try, get a really high step 2 CK score, and get relative experience in those specialties. So if you were looking to match into nephrology, cardiology, or even ortho, get the actual clinical experience in those specialties, and that is what we can provide you. So you can add those to your CV. So when you are ready to apply for the match, you have those strong letters of recommendation, you have the really great step 2 CK score, you passed step 1 on the first try, and you had really high marks in in medical school. Another thing too, during your interviews, when you start applying for the match and you have interviews scheduled, work on your personal statement. This is a job. You want to express yourself and let them know that you are passionate about what you're looking to do, and knowing how to talk to patients, being able to relate to them, it is going to go a long way. I know that doesn't exactly answer everything, but there are multiple different factors that really play into it. But like I said, focus on those, try to get the highest scores, pass your step exams, and then get the relative experience are really going to set you down that road to make sure that you get the highest probability of matching into those specialties. All right, for my next question that I have, looks like I covered majority of them.
I guess if I could jump in, one of the questions we do get all the time, or really you should be asking, is why pick AMO? Why pick us? What is the benefit? What sets us apart from anybody else? And the biggest one that I like to highlight is that every step of the way with us, you have a dedicated advisor, you have a dedicated coach who will be able to walk you through any of the processes, answer any of your questions, and really give you that one-on-one experience, so that when you take this big leap to come to the US for your clinical experience, you are comfortable, you are ready, and you are prepared to rotate and have the best experience that you can have. So really, if you're looking for value, I guess that's the biggest value that I would put out there.
Great, thank you for mentioning that, Jeff. And what really sets us apart as well is that we are here to help you. As Jeff mentioned, that we kind of like walk you throughout the entire process. We take that passion and we want to make sure that you are going to match. We are also very transparent. You can find pretty much all of our information on our website. You have a personalized advisor and a coach that will, provide you the answers that you need and help you find the rotation that you want to as well. So that kind of going said, I wanted to go into the next Q&A questions that have come in. I think this is a follow-up question to the question that we had earlier about the kind of higher specialties, cardiology, ortho. What add-on plus points to get into those higher specialties for rotation? Really, there is no add-on. You are eligible to attend if you're a graduate or a medical student. So just apply and have your CV already uploaded, and we will make sure that you get into those rotations. We are an equal opportunity provider, so we want to make sure that anybody does have that equal opportunity to apply, and it is first come, first serve. So once your application is approved, you are then ready to reserve your seat, and that is really it. There is no additional, hey, you're not qualified, you can't do this rotation. No, that's not what we do. We will provide you those rotations to pretty much anybody who is, wanting to attend. So like I said, have your CV and start applying for those rotations, and we will reach out directly to you to help you on those next steps. Jeffrey, would you like to add or answer the next question here?
Nothing to add. Well, about the previous question. No, never mind. I can skip that part. But for TOEFL, is it if you have step 1 score, is it necessary? TOEFL is one of the requirements for a residency match, I believe, but we are able to kind of test your English proficiency on the AMO side. Really, it is very simple, where we can schedule a call, and as long as you can hold a conversation on that call with us, we would be able to help you waive that English proficiency requirement.
Yeah, and just to add on to that too, if you have any English certifications, whether it be TOEFL, IELTS, you've taken a class in English or your university is taught in English, step 1 also counts as well. That will waive the English proficiency requirement. And as Jeff mentioned, you can always schedule a call if you don't have those. It's generally the easiest requirement to fulfill. Takes not even 2 minutes on a call, just kind of hear you talk, and if you can hold a conversation, that's really it. If your English isn't exactly perfect, that's perfectly okay as well. We know that English is not everybody's first language, and we will make sure that you are okay with doing the rotation. And English is going to be one of the benefits during this rotation as well. You can always practice your English skills. You can deal directly with patients and the doctors. You can also practice your English medical terminology if that's also one of the cases. So don't feel like you have to be turned off that your English is not perfect. Don't worry about it. Like I said, this is one of the easiest requirements to fulfill. So we could definitely assist you on that if that is one of the concerns that you have about it. We will always reassure you that you're going to be okay. Now, this is a great question that somebody just asked. Do IMGs need to learn native languages such as Spanish or et cetera, other than English? Will it add a point to the CV? So that is a great question. While not knowing another language is not required, it does add an additional point to your CV. So if you are bilingual or know more than one language, that is definitely going to help you when trying to match. There are certain areas of this country that, traditionally English is not the main language. In a lot of places, Spanish is the main point. A lot of in the rural areas, there may be Spanish or, sometimes even French, Russian, Polish. Really depends on where you are. We are a very diverse country, so there are a lot of languages spoken, but there isn't generally a main official language. But being bilingual is always going to be very helpful, and will definitely help you match specifically in those places that maybe they need more Spanish or different type of speaker in that place. So like a good example, we did have someone who is bilingual. They are from Colombia. His name is Oscar. He is one of our ambassadors through AMO. He was able to match in New Mexico in one of their hospitals. And he is bilingual. So I think that definitely helped him get into there as well, along with his great background, his experience. So they are looking for more people in those general areas, if maybe Spanish or another language is one of your preferred methods, but definitely is going to help you. All right, we are kind of running into the last few minutes of this webinar. So please, anybody, if you have any last minute questions, be sure to answer those. Jeffrey, I don't know if you had anything that you want to bring up as well during this webinar.
Nothing extra, but if you did enjoy speaking with us and did enjoy the time that we had together, I do recommend reaching out to either Anthony or I to answer any of your questions. We'd be happy to, and we can also schedule a one-on-one call together as well. I'll be putting my email address in our Zoom chat here. So if you want to reach out to me, I'm happy to speak with you.
Yeah, likewise as well for me. I did post in the chat here the advisor's email address and then the schedule call link. So if you guys had any, follow-up questions or any concerns at all, I know a couple of people, they inquired about specific rotations such as the virtual or about their current visa situation. Please reach out to us. We are more than happy to help you and making sure that you are, in the right hands, you have the information that you need, and that we can assist you with finding the great rotation.
I do see we have one more question here in the Q&A. Apart from expenses of the rotation, what will be the extra expenses? Accommodation, food, living? That's a great question. You will be responsible for arranging your own living and travel accommodations. However, once you do book your rotation and you do get in contact with your AMO coach, they will have suggestions and will be able to help you find affordable housing and affordable accommodations wherever you will be rotating in.
Yeah, great question too. And just to kind of quickly clarify, when you log in, you are going to see prices for each individual rotation. That's all you're paying. There is no hidden fees. There's no service charge. It's all included in that cost. Now, do bear in mind that is just going to be for the rotation itself. So that covers like the doctor fees, the rotation, the documentations fees, and pretty much all of that. But they don't cover like accommodations, flights, food, insurance. That you still have to cover on your own, but we do help you if you did need those. So I'm happy that we were able to get in a lot of these questions and we were able to introduce ourselves and let everybody know who exactly we are. So I am actually going to end this webinar now. So everybody, thank you again for tuning in, and I'm hoping that we were able to answer a lot of your questions. So if you have any more that you want to let us know, please reach out to us. We're more than happy to assist you. So thank you again, everybody. Thank you again. Appreciate it. Everybody stay safe and have a great morning or great rest of your night.
Thank you, everyone. Take care.
Thank you.